Okay, welcome, welcome. We are doing a deep dive today.
Yes, we are.
We're plunging right into the Enneagram of personality, um, pulling from the sources you've all shared.
And yet our goal here is really to unpack this system, kind of dig into the material we've got and pull out the key nuggets.
Yeah.
What really drives people,
Right.
their core motivations, fears, desires.
Yeah.
It's much more about the why people do things, not just like the surface behavior.
Exactly. Think of it maybe as a shortcut, a way to understand yourself, understand others a bit better. It can feel like putting on glasses and suddenly seeing colors you didn't even realize were there.
Totally. And the material describes this as, well, of a pretty powerful tool, creative even, for personal development, empathy, growth. It really zooms in on those deep-seated motivations, the ones often shaped way back in early life.
And it's important, I think, to say up front, this isn't presented as, hard science in the way a lab test is.
Right, not a scientific measurement per se.
It's subjective, relies heavily on self-reporting, observation, but that doesn't mean it isn't powerful for self-awareness.
Absolutely not. Its value is in that reflection it encourages. So we'll touch just briefly on the origins bit mysterious there in this modern development, but then we're jumping straight into the building blocks.
The fundamentals.
Exactly. The core concepts, what makes it tick. Then we'll look at the 9 types themselves, how you might figure out your own type,
Mm-hmm.
and why that's sometimes, well, tricky.
Yeah, definitely.
And finally, some practical tools for growth and connection.
Okay, let's unpack it, starting with those core concepts, the structure of the whole thing.
Right. So the first big piece is the triad groups, sometimes called centers of intelligence, basically the 9 types. They're grouped into 3 clusters of 3.
Okay.
And each cluster tends to process the world and their core emotion in, well, similar way.
All right, so first up, the body or gut triad. That's types 1, 8, and 9. What's their deal? What's driving them?
Their main emotional driver is anger. Yeah, anger. These types often process things physically, like they might feel it in their gut, literally, before they even consciously name the emotion.
Interesting.
Yeah, think impulsive, sometimes compulsive, definitely reactionary. They can see things very black and white, and they value fairness, justice really deeply.
Got it. Body types, anger. Then there's the heart or feeling triad, types 2, 3, and 4. What's their core landscape like?
For them, it's all about emotional sensations. The core emotion they're grappling with is shame.
Shame.
Yeah. A feeling of being maybe inherently not enough, believing they need to do something or be something more, just be worthy. How others see them is huge.
Even the top 3, the performer, they seem so confident.
Right. But even they often frame their achievements as being for others, to impress them, support them, prove their worth to them. It still ties back to that external validation, that sense of shame.
Wow, okay. And the last group, the head or reason triad, types 5, 6, and 7. What's at their core?
Fear. That's their driver. They rely heavily on knowledge, their inner voice, logic. They often wrestle with anxiety, insecurity, maybe a kind of restlessness.
You can almost picture the wheels turning.
Totally. Lots of thinking, planning. They find comfort in predictability, in knowing things. Gathering information is often fundamentally a way to manage those underlying fears.
Now, the material digs even deeper into these triads, right? This idea of relationists, pragmatists, and utopians.
Yes, this is where it gets really layered and interesting. The relationist that's types 5, 8, and 2, they tend to express that core emotion, be it fear, anger, or shame, in a way that directly shapes how they relate to other people.
So the observer's fear creates distance.
Exactly. The challenger's anger pushes outward, and the helper, well, they try to overcome their shame by proving their value through helping others. It's all very relational.
Okay. And the pragmatists, that's 6, 9, and 3. They handle it differently.
Yeah, they seem to try and sort of repress or escape their core emotion. Like the loyalist masks fear with constant preparation. The peacemaker tries to just deny or push down their anger.
And the performer tries to outrun shame with success.
Precisely. Keep achieving, keep polishing that image. Now, the utopians, that's 4, 7, and 1, they tend to turn that core emotion inward.
How so?
Well, the individualist directs shame towards themselves, often through comparison, feeling they lack something. The enthusiast projects their fear inward, fearing maybe a core emptiness or limitation, and the reformer turns anger inwards, feeling it as that simmering resentment about imperfection.
It's so important, though. As the material points out, we all have all 3 centers, right? Body, heart, head.
Absolutely. We all think, feel, and act. The triad just shows our kind of default setting, especially when we're stressed or not paying attention.
Right, our go-to reaction pattern. Okay, what's next? Ego fixations.
Yes, ego fixations. These are described as expressions of unchecked self-absorption, basically. A lack of self-awareness. They're like distortions in how we see things, leading to negative patterns we might not even recognize in ourselves.
Like tempting ways of thinking, things that promise security but are actually kind of limiting.
Exactly. Seductive, almost. For example, the observer, type 5, their ego fixation is often described as stinginess or retention.
So not just about money.
Not necessarily, no. It's
What?
often more about hoarding resources, time, energy, knowledge, even personal space, being hyper-vigilant about protecting what they feel is theirs. And this often links back to early experiences, maybe perceived scarcity or boundaries being intruded upon.
Makes sense. Okay, next up, primary fears. These aren't just everyday worries, are they?
Not at all. These are deep, really deep-seated emotional states or dynamics, often starting in childhood. Rooted in perceived threats, maybe punishment from parents or authority figures, they feel less like specific phobias and more like an inevitable doom you spend your life running from, often without realizing it.
Like the challenger, type 8, fearing being manipulated or controlled.
Right, and you can often trace that back. Maybe a childhood with a very domineering parent, leading the child to think, I have to be strong, I have to be in control, or I'll be crushed.
And the flip side of that fear is the sublime ideal.
Ah, yes, the light at the end of the tunnel. These are the big hopes, the goals, sometimes realistic, sometimes maybe a bit out there, that we believe will finally bring fulfillment, make us feel whole. They're powerful motivators.
So like the loyalist, type 6, whose sublime ideal might be proving their constant worry is actually useful.
Precisely. That deep need to validate their caution might drive them to, say, meticulously prep for disasters that never happen. They don't want the disaster, obviously, but their ideal kind of needs their preparedness to be proven right, which creates a weird tension.
Okay. Now, the Enneagram isn't just 9 boxes, there's nuance, which brings us to wing types.
Yes, exactly. Your core type isn't the whole picture. You're also influenced by the numbers right next to yours on the circle.
So a type 7, the enthusiast, might lean towards type 6, the loyalist, or type 8, the challenger.
Right. Or sometimes a bit of both. But usually people feel a stronger pull towards one wing or the other.
And this shows it's more like a spectrum, right? Adds complexity, explains why two people of the same core type can seem quite different.
Exactly that. It adds depth, nuance, helps account for those subtle variations in behavior.
Then you've got the lines connecting the numbers, integration and disintegration.
Right. Those arrows on the diagram, they show movement. The integration arrow points towards qualities you move towards when you're healthy, growing, integrating positive traits from another type.
And the disintegration arrow.
That shows where you might go under stress, when you're unhealthy, when your usual coping mechanisms aren't working. You might take on the less healthy aspects of that connected type.
Let's use the loyalist, type 6 again. They integrate towards...
Towards the healthy side of type 9, the peacemaker. Becoming calmer, more trusting, more self-reliant.
But under stress, they disintegrate towards...
Towards the unhealthy side of type 3, the performer. Maybe becoming overly focused on image, cutting corners, being deceitful to look competent when they feel overwhelmed.
It's a dynamic thing then. And the material says this is why testing yourself at different times might give different results.
Yeah, especially if you test during high stress or right after a big success. It could skew things or just make it confusing. And it's worth saying, different Enneagram teachers have slightly different takes on exactly how significant these lines are. It's not universally agreed upon in every detail.
Fair enough. Okay, another crucial concept. Degrees of health.
Yes, the levels of development. The material lays out 9 possible levels of psychological health for each type. Levels 1 to 3 are generally seen as the healthy range.
Functioning well.
Right. Levels 4 to 6 are the average range, where the ego structure and its defenses are pretty obvious. And levels 7 to 9 are the unhealthy range.
So level 1 is like the ultimate goal, the most integrated, healthiest version of that type.
Kind of, yeah. Really transcending the ego's limitations, handling life with grace. And level 9 at the other end, that's described as pathologically destructive, deeply unhealthy.
And your level isn't fixed.
Not at all. It's dynamic. It reflects your overall balance, physical, mental, emotional. The whole point of Enneagram work isn't to change your type, you are who you are, but to grow within your type, to move toward the healthiest expression of it. Lower levels really indicate a kind of damaged relationship with your ego.
Okay, that gives us a solid foundation. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of the 9 types themselves. What are some key specifics for each one?
Sounds good. Let's start with type 1, the reformer, also called the perfectionist, idealist, critic.
Body triad, anger-driven. How does that anger show up?
Often internally. as resentment, maybe what the material calls ire. Their core fear is being corrupt, flawed, bad, or just plain wrong. And their ideal is striving for perfection, for being unimpeachable.
So they might seem critical on the outside, but it starts inside, with a harsh inner critic.
Exactly. A voice that often echoes maybe demanding parents or teachers from childhood. They're idealists, wanting to improve things, make the world better. They're not afraid to challenge unjust rules. But that resentment flares up, especially when others don't meet their high standards or when their hard work goes unnoticed.
And growth for them involves.
Really confronting and softening that inner critic. Healthy ones are amazing at creating positive change. When you're communicating with a 1, listen seriously. They value punctuality, detail, insight. Honesty is key, even if it's critical, as long as it's accurate and constructive. In teams, giving them specific tasks and helping them see the bigger picture, depersonalizing it a bit, works well.
Okay. Moving to the heart triad. Type 2, the helper, giver, nurturer.
Their core emotion is shame. Their vice, their ego fixation, often involves flattery, trying to please, sometimes subtle manipulation to feel needed. The deep fear is being unworthy or undeserving of love. And the ideal, receiving supreme unconditional love.
They come across as warm, caring, intuitive, good at sensing feelings.
Absolutely. Very attuned to others. But, and this is key, they often struggle to connect with their own feelings. They
Yeah.
can be incredibly generous, sometimes too much so, driven by that fear of rejection. There can be a tendency towards codependency.
Attaching their self-worth to being needed.
Yeah, pretty much. They might even mirror others' emotions initially. The source material notes many famous examples given are female, though it also mentions some males initially seen as helpers, who later revealed less purely helpful motives.
What does growth look like for a helper?
It's really about self-love, self-sufficiency, learning to give love without expecting something specific back, and crucially, loving themselves. Communication-wise, genuine encouragement and appreciation mean a lot. Helping them see how they can specifically help you is better than letting them guess. Expressing gratitude can help curb that overgiving. The material even suggests casually discussing expectations to avoid potential manipulation and gives tips on how to gently refuse help you don't need while still validating their offer. Their childhood wound often relates to feeling their own needs were inconvenient, so they learned helping others made them valuable, guaranteed acceptance.
Makes sense. Okay, type 3, the performer, achiever, motivator, still heart triad, shame-driven.
Right. Their vice is often seen as vanity or deceit, and the ego fixation can look like arrogance or a focus on power. The core fear, being worthless, insignificant, the ideal, being seen as valuable, important, successful.
Often described as assertive, driven, maybe willing to cut corners.
Yes, they're highly motivated to succeed. They can be like chameleons, adapting their image to fit what they think will lead to success. This often comes from backgrounds where failure just wasn't an option. That fear of shame, of failure, is a huge driver. It can lead them to bend rules or truth if they see it as necessary for the win. The material mentions figures like Elizabeth Holmes or Bernie Madoff, noting that while their actions were harmful, their ability to perform under pressure is characteristic, though definitely not of healthy threes.
How do they handle stress?
Interestingly, under stress, they can sometimes act like unhealthy nines avoiding conflict, maybe escaping into work or substances. But even their downtime often has an achievement focus. Growth involves finding real work-life balance, embracing authenticity, valuing themselves beyond just accomplishments. Healthy threes can be fantastic, inspiring leaders. Communication. They like it goal-oriented, direct, quick. Honesty that helps them improve is valued, even if blunt. Praise combined with specific instructions works well. They need validation that their hard work is seen and appreciated for what it is. The childhood wound often involves being taught that external success was everything, without asking if they truly wanted it, leading to potential imposter syndrome or emptiness even after success.
Okay, type 4, the individualist. Romantic, artist, mystic, still heart triad, shame-driven.
Their vice is envy. The ego fixation often involves melancholy, fantasizing. Core fear, lacking a unique identity or significance. Ideal, feeling authentic, comfortable in their own skin, knowing who they truly are.
Described as intense, emotional, artistic, appreciating beauty and nuance.
Yes, and often embodying dualities, wanting to be seen as special, but also withdrawing. Prone to melancholy, feeling emotions very deeply, maybe disproportionately. They tend to focus on what feels missing, often feel misunderstood. Socially, they can be hot and cold magnetic, then reclusive. That whole come here, no, go away vibe.
Highly sensitive.
Extremely. Easily hurt. They often trust their darker or more intense emotions, seeing depth where others see negativity. When unhealthy, they can be erratic, melodramatic, might even act like unhealthy twos, prideful, manipulative, or nines, slothful, paralyzed. They integrate towards healthy. One quality is more objective, action-oriented. Growth comes from mindfulness, gratitude, discipline, creative expression. Learning that emotions pass is huge. Pet peeves. Being told they're too sensitive, rigid rules, black-white thinking, conformity, small talk. Famous examples often include many creative types. The childhood wound often involves feeling something essential was missing, maybe fearing abandonment, leading to a lifelong focus on perceived lacks and feeling different.
Got it. Shifting to the head triad now. Fear-driven. Type 5, the observer. Investigator, thinker, sage.
Their vice is avarice or selfishness, showing up as that ego fixation of stinginess, retention, core fear, being helpless, incompetent, useless. Ideal, being capable, competent, knowledgeable, useful.
Sharp minds, valuing knowledge and rationality for security.
Absolutely. Sometimes perceived as elitist or condescending, but often comes from that need to feel competent. They usually needed solitude growing up, maybe lacked privacy or dealt with overwhelming emotions from others, so they deeply value autonomy now.
Yeah.
Often introverted, think before speaking, very intentional. Great problem solvers. That poker face often hides a lot of inner processing. Quality over speed, always.
And the hoarding tendency.
Can be there hoarding knowledge, time, energy, especially if feeling insecure or unappreciated. Unhealthy fives might neglect their physical needs, become obsessive, withdrawn, cynical, isolated. They can ignore physical or emotional signals until they leak out as symptoms. Healthy integration means putting knowledge into action, becoming more grounded. Teamwork is key for manifesting ideas, which means learning to communicate and trust a big growth area. They need to learn to express themselves, even if briefly. Respecting their need for recharge time is crucial. It's not personal rejection, interrupting that time. That can make them quite dismissive. Healthy fives use their knowledge generously and can truly make a difference.
Pet peeves.
Loud opinions dated as fact. Big emotional displays, noise, distractions, false info, people they see as needy. Communication. Be concise, clear, fact-based. Avoid fluff, emotional appeals, flattery. It makes them suspicious. They notice sincerity. Listen carefully. Ask thoughtful questions. Respect their need for space. The childhood wound relates to needing that solitude for peace, perhaps dealing with intrusive or emotionally immature caregivers who didn't respect their boundaries.
Okay. Type 6, the loyalist. Devil's advocate, troubleshooter, skeptic. Head triad, fear-driven.
Vices dread, anxiety, ego fixation, cowardice, rumination, core fear, being without support or guidance, falling without a safety net. Ideal. Security, predictability, being prepared, feeling supported.
Often thought to be the most common type.
That's often suggested, yeah. They deeply value trust, community, driven by an underlying sense of doubt, anxiety about potential disaster, crave safety, see the world as potentially dangerous, form strong loyalties for security, community is a safety net. Very future-oriented, often intuitive about what could go wrong.
Which can make them good in a crisis.
Ironically, yes, because they've already played out the worst-case scenarios. They often have a great, sometimes dark sense of humor about their own anxiety.
And there are different ways they express this fear.
Right, the phobic six is more cautious, authority-respecting. The counterphobic six confronts fear, rebels against authority, can seem aggressive to mask the anxiety. Usually reliable, responsible workers, drawn to feels needing troubleshooting or safety focus, feel a need to contribute value, unhealthy, pessimistic, indecisive, reactive, suspicious, even paranoid.
Healthier.
More self-reliant, trusting themselves in the universe, balancing doubt with optimism.
Growth for them.
Releasing fear's grip, embracing some spontaneity, finding inner faith, pet peeves, fears being dismissed, fake kindness, unreliable people systems, manipulators, irresponsibility, communication. Let them talk out their anxieties, take their concerns seriously, even if they seem far-fetched. Reassurance helps, but it often needs repeating. Laugh with them. Dark humor is common. Keep serious discussions relatively light. The childhood wound involves learning the world isn't safe. Even caregivers might not be fully reliable, leading them to anticipate danger and doubt easy answers.
Got it. Type 7, the enthusiast. Epicure, adventurer, escapist. Head triad, fear.
Vice, gluttony, ego fixation, anticipation, planning, anxiety underneath, core fear. Pain, deprivation, being trapped or restricted. Ideal. Contentment, satisfaction, fulfillment.
Usually seen as optimistic, energetic, free-spirited.
That's the vibe, yeah. Huge thirst for stimulation, love change, risk. Tons of ideas, always moving. Movement helps them think. Charming, easy to idealize. But that constant need for novelty makes long-term commitment tricky. Fundamentally, they're running from fear, using excitement and future plans as a shield against present pain or boredom.
So the need for action causes issues.
Definitely. Trouble saying no, overcommitting, maybe unreliable because the next shiny thing calls. Burn bright, then burn out. Unhealthy. Frenetic energy. Speak act before thinking can be charismatic, but also careless or hurtful. Bite off more than they can chew. Struggle with structure, deadlines. Gluttony in the broad sense, wanting more experiences, options, stimulation, short attention spans.
And that avoidance of pain is central.
Huge. Like adrenaline junkies avoiding stillness. Pain, limitation, restriction. When forced to slow down, anxiety can show up physically. They might sacrifice stability, relationships, security for that feeling of freedom. Escape. Very future-focused, but often lack solid long-term plans. Healthier. They move towards temperance, sobriety, find comfort in stillness, accept the present. Can look more like focus fives or reciprocal twos. Growth absolutely requires facing pain, not running.
How to communicate with them.
Gently encourage completion. Ask them to finish one thought before jumping ahead. Help them focus on current tasks before planning the next escape. Prompt reflection. How did you feel about X? Something that already happened. Help them connect with the present. Their childhood wound often involves perceived scarcity of resources, attention, freedom, leading them to distract from pain with imagination and future focus, using denial as a key strategy.
Okay, back to the body triad. Type 8, the challenger, protector, maverick, leader, anger-driven.
Vice is lust, not just sexual, but an intense energy, a lust for life, intensity, ego fixation, vengeance, objectification, seeing people as tools or obstacles.
Yeah.
Core fear, being controlled, manipulated, harmed, ideal. Safety, freedom, autonomy, peace of mind, often through control.
Said to be less common.
Often considered so, yeah. Strong-willed, direct, assertive. Stereotypes can be negative, but they often champion the underdog, protect the weak, empower others. Like tanks outside, but often soft inside. Feel deeply, but might express it through anger or action rather than softer emotions. Exude confidence, strength, decisive, sometimes impulsive. Act first, think later when unhealthy. Hot-tempered, quick to anger.
Their background often required strength.
Often, yes. Grew up needing to be tough, maybe protecting siblings. Their take-charge style comes from wanting fairness, security, peace feeling they have to create it themselves. Can't stand injustice, often jump in as referee or protector. Very aware of power dynamics, not easily intimidated. Actually appreciate direct confrontation, see it as honest, a path to truth, even intimacy. Value harsh truths over lies. Criticism can feel like respect.
But struggle with vulnerability.
Big time. Often taught it was weakness. Repress softer feelings, which then erupt as anger or destructive force. Unhealthy eights can be bullies, intimidating, cruel. Under severe stress, might withdraw like unhealthy. Fives, suspicious, isolated, can be bulldozers. Prefer offense to defense, enjoy intensity, thrill-seeking, can be loud, forceful, use strong language for emphasis, not necessarily offense. Impatient, believe quick action is best.
What does healthy look like?
Natural leaders, respected, chosen. Heroic, brave, often for the greater good, not glory. Growth means tempering reactivity with self-control, tolerance, empathy, especially for fear types. Vulnerability is key for real intimacy, not just weakness. Trusting others brings peace. Become less domineering, more inspiring. Pet peeves, abuse of power, invaded space, dishonesty, taking advantage of weakness, feeling powerless. Growth points, surrender, vulnerability, introspection, compassion, childhood wound, needing to be strong, learning vulnerability was dangerous, building protective walls.
And finally, type 9, the peacemaker. Negotiator, mediator, accommodator, body triad, anger.
Vice is sloth, not just physical laziness, but inertia. Resistance to engaging with life fully, numbing out. Ego fixation, indolence, daydreaming. Core fear, separation, loss, conflict, fragmentation. Ideal, peace, harmony, stability, connection with others.
Often seem warm, kind, optimistic, easygoing.
That's the surface, yeah. Masters of empathy, seeing all sides, bringing people together, can be too tolerant, losing their own sense of self, needs, opinions by merging with others. Sometimes confused with twos, but nines avoid conflict by merging and accommodating, trying to keep everyone happy, often lacking strong personal stances, see things through rose-colored glasses.
Struggling with their own needs and anger.
Definitely. Low sense of personal agency in relationships might passively accept bad situations by withdrawing internally. Main goal is often repressing their own anger, willing it away. Unhealthy, passive-aggressive, paralyzed by conflict, complacent, sloth, often carry hidden anxiety, frantic energy underneath the calm surface like swans paddling furiously underwater. Dread losing connection, want to be tolerated more than deeply known. People-pleasing can be overwhelming.
Where does this originate?
Often from environments where group needs trumped individual needs, maybe religious or spiritual contexts, learned self-denial was good. Can be self-effacing, avoid the spotlight, give vague answers like whatever you want. Growth involves integrating their own needs and voice with the group. Their inner withdrawals often go unnoticed, can feel inconsequential outside a group context. Dreamers, seekers want connection, often spiritually inclined. Great diplomats, receptive but struggle with boundaries, easily influenced, can identify with all types due to empathy.
Key growth points.
Finding and embodying their own self, self-care, self-empowerment. Meditation helps connect to self, channeling energy into positive change, not just maintaining peace. Pet peeves. Being patronized, ignored, interrupted, put on the spot. People who thrive on drama, communication. Use precise language. Ask, are you willing and able? Not just, can you help? Gently invite their opinions. Show genuine interest. Offer supportive feedback when they share. Check in gently about procrastination. Reassure them deadlines aren't always catastrophic. Be non-judgmental. The childhood wound often involves feeling their own opinions didn't matter, so aligning with others was the way to belong, and prioritizing self was selfish.
Wow, okay, that's a really rich snapshot of all 9 types, their drivers, struggles, paths.
It really lays out the patterns, which leads perfectly into, well, how do you figure out your own type? The material is clear. Self-assessment quizzes, they're a start, but they're subjective.
Totally. Requires, like, brutal honesty, right? About flaws, not just strengths. And it
Yeah.
takes time. Maybe multiple tries, reflection, really noticing your gut reactions, not just what you think the right answer is. We all have biases, blind spots.
There's that great river test example in the material,
Yeah.
how different types might instinctively react to a wide, fast river.
Mhm.
Cautious scouting, meticulous planning, just plunging in, observing, helping others, inventing a bridge, thrill-seeking, drifting.
Yeah, it shows how those core drives pop up everywhere. And crucially, the material stresses. It's super hard to type other people accurately. Focus on yourself. Don't go around labeling everyone.
Right. And honestly, even if you don't land on your type right away, just learning about all the types builds so much empathy. Helps you see your own patterns differently, too.
What's fascinating is why it can be hard, even uncomfortable, to find your type. As the source points out, it forces you to look at your deepest flaws, your weaknesses. It can feel like seeing you're still that scared kid underneath the adult coping skills.
That can be confronting, yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling exposed, maybe disappointed you haven't fixed everything yet. That's normal.
And the material is so clear. Trying to deny your type, fight it. It's exhausting and just doesn't work. Real growth comes from accepting it, the good, the bad, the ugly, and then working towards the healthiest version of that type.
Okay, so once you start that journey, what are some practical tools the material suggests for growth?
A big one is developing a real self-care routine, and it clarifies this isn't just bubble baths.
Right, not just indulgence.
It's any consistent investment in yourself, your happiness. Basic stuff, too, like exercise, eating well, requires discipline.
And stress is a huge barrier to growth, the material notes. Prioritizing yourself can feel weird at first, maybe selfish, but it builds core strength. Everyone deserves that space.
Another key tool, actively releasing anxieties, which, let's be honest, in today's world, anxiety is everywhere. Reducing its hold takes conscious effort.
So what helps? The material lists things like exercise, responsible sexual activity, even adrenaline rushes, though maybe not for enthusiasts who overuse it, certain supplements like valerian, kava kava, aromatherapy, laughter, just getting fears out, speaking or writing them.
And fundamentally, making that conscious choice to let go of expectations, anger, guilt, shame, fear, choosing instead acceptance, forgiveness, doing your best, self-love, faith.
Meditation is highlighted as really accessible too.
Yeah, no special skills or props needed. Simple steps. Get comfy, close eyes, breathe naturally, gently focus on the breath, observe thoughts without engaging, just let them float by.
Mantras or affirmations can help too. Simple phrases that resonate. Maybe type specific ones if you dig deeper. It's about the power of focus.
And finally, empathy and communication are framed as growth tools themselves. Understanding, through the Enneagram, how each type genuinely wants to do good just defines good differently that changes everything.
It shifts you from frustration or judgment to curiosity, compassion. So much conflict is just miscommunication, misunderstanding the other's core world. Using those communication tips for each type, that improves everything, relationships, work, family.
Which brings us to a really crucial point in the material, the empath's dilemma, the need for boundaries.
Ah, yes. Empathy is amazing, but it's a double-edged sword. Too much, without boundaries. You just absorb everyone else's negativity. Burnout city. lose yourself.
Exactly. Boundary work is essential to maintain your own self, meet your own needs, stay healthy first. You can't pour from an empty cup, right?
And respecting others' boundaries, too. You can't force anyone else to grow.
Strong boundaries aren't walls, the material says. They're like a
Yeah.
container, letting you say yes to what nourishes you, no to what drains you, and still be flexible for life's curveballs.
Ultimately, maybe the biggest gift the Enneagram offers is the language, the insight to reframe your own story.
Our stories are so powerful. How we narrate our lives shapes everything. An authentic narrative. That's speaking your truth, defining yourself on your own terms, regardless of what others think or expect.
Nobody else can write that story for you. And sharing it, listening to others' stories, that builds understanding, allows you to be truly seen.
And being seen authentically with all the messy, beautiful complexity of your type, that opens door to real love, real acceptance from others, and most importantly, from yourself.
So we've really journeyed through the core of the Enneagram today. The structure, the 9 types, what drives them deep down, and those paths towards growth and connection.
It's definitely complex, so many layers, a lifelong tool, really. And like the material suggests, there's always more to explore.
Absolutely. If this sparks something for you, the material points towards areas like shadow work, the harmonic approach, how types handle conflict, object relations, attachment styles, even digging into all 18 wing subtypes. Lots more depth there.
But really, the ultimate power isn't just in the concepts, it's how the Enneagram brings you face to face with, well, with yourself.
Understanding those core patterns
Yeah.
gives you incredible clarity. You know who you are, maybe in a way you didn't before. So the question the Enneagram kind of leaves you with is, knowing this now, what story do you want your life to tell going forward?